When we moved into our house, this is what all of our closets in all the bedrooms, the front entry closet you see here, and the pantry looked like. If you're a machinist and know CAD/CAM and CNC but nothing about woodworking, what do? You buy a CNC router. We moved into our house in, I think it was January, end of January, early February of 2020. In other words, right before COVID hit and we had all the lockdowns. Now, we had a long punch list with our contractor, including the question of, okay, why is there no shelf here and why is there no clothes rack or clothes pole? And this is the way it is in all of the bedrooms, as well as the front entryway that you see here, as well as the pantry. So we kept trying to get him to give us some bids or information about finishing this. We thought some of these things should be on the punch list, but then we discovered that this is pretty much how houses these days are done. This is not a new house, it's an effective new house. We bought it as a remodel project and basically tore out the insides and the outsides and rebuilt it. Or he did, the contractor. So we finally switched to another contractor and also a designer, and it took forever and ever to get a design from the designer that we were happy with, and we never did. We kept saying, this is what we want, and she said, no, you don't want to do that. Yes, I do. So finally, I was getting frustrated, and I asked the contractor, okay, if we did have a design right now, and we had a bid right now, how long it would take before you could start? And they said 5 months. Now, we have other work we want them to do. It's been 2 months and we still don't have a bid for that other work. So I finally just said, okay, I've had enough. I figure with my background with CNC machining and CAD/CAM, how difficult would it be with a CNC router? So I decided to jump in both feet and give it a try. And after looking around, I stumbled across the Yeti Smartbench, which seemed like the perfect CNC router for me because it's a full-size router. It can handle 4x8 sheets of plywood, and it can be broken down into much smaller pieces that I think I can put into my attic when I'm not using it. And it only takes about 5 or 10 minutes to break it down. So I figured if I buy this machine, I think it was about $8,000, that's going to be money that I save because I'm not paying someone else to do the work. I'm not paying the designer. I can do that, and we're not paying the contractors. True, I have to do the work myself, but still, I think I might be able to get it done in less time than it takes to wait for the contractors to become available. So in this video, I'm going to show you setting up the router, and then in the next video, I'm going to be doing the shelf and the clothes pole for this closet. I got lucky. The first box that I opened had the instruction manual or safety instructions, the instruction manual, and various other pieces of information. So that's pretty cool. And then under here, oh, this is cool, a Yeti hat. It's summer, so it'll be a while before I can use that, but that's pretty cool. And then this looks like the Z assembly. So I'll pull this out. Oh, and the control box. So there's the control box. And then, yep, that's the Z assembly. Okay, this looks like the legs. Oh yeah. Okay, that's the motor, milling motor, and some cables, and that's that. Let's see what's holding it in place. Oh, okay, it's not held in place. It's just a tight fit. Possibly a little difficult to do with one person, but we'll see if I can do it. There we go. Okay. All right, turns out they're not exactly identical. Okay, then on this end, which is the home end, I don't want to put this on the end yet, per the instructions. So I'm just putting it underneath there, which will allow me to put the, I don't know if it's the X or the Y assembly on first. So from what I can tell, this is two different assemblies that are connected together at the moment by this plastic wrap. So I think I just need to undo the plastic wrap. Okay, so these are some rails here. And so I'm going to loosen the clamps on both sides. Boy, this one is really tight. Okay. Make sure this is loose. And then I think this comes out. There we go. And this is what goes on first. Okay. Okay, so at this point, I can move the legs. And yeah, it's getting a little heavier. There we go. And then this should be able to go further, which it does. Okay. So the first step is to bring the wire pieces out, like so. And then the Z assembly says it goes in like this with the dust extractor on the outside, and then put it in just a little bit. And then these, let me look at the manual to see how that goes on. Okay. So these go on like so. I'm going to do my best not to drop this. There we go. And then this fits into, there's a square hole and a square boss, a rectangle hole and a rectangular boss. So that aligns nicely. And then this goes up through like so. I'm jumping ahead. It didn't say to do this yet in the instructions, but it was pretty obvious that that's what I needed to do. Now, this is a I think a DB25 or DB9, I'm not sure which, connector. And I'm assuming that's for the signals for the steppers, etc. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So now that I've got this connected electrically on both sides, I can push this in and then grab this right here, which is the dust extractor connection. And I assume it clicks in somehow. Yeah, goes in there and then turns. So that's pretty cool. Okay, the console goes into here. It says to put it in all the way, and that looks like it's all the way. And then there's a connector that goes into the bottom here. Like so. There's a safety cable to hold this in place. And so I'm going to remove this for a minute and then connect this part here. So it says to loop it through like so. Okay, and then this goes through there. So that holds it in place there. And then this attaches, the carabiner attaches to the console. Like so. And that way, when this is in here, if it were to come out, it's not going to fall on the floor or something like that, so it'll be held secure. Next we have a cable that needs to go up into here. I'm trying to figure out the orientation. There we go. And it locked firmly into place. So underneath the power connections are clearly labeled. And I don't have a dust extractor yet, so I'm going to start by just connecting the main power to the Smartbench. Because I want to fire this up, make sure it homes and everything is good, and then I'm going to do some more research and figure out which extractor to buy. And then they have these strain relief connections here. So I'll work on getting that into there. According to the manual, I can now release the e-stop, and it should power up, I think. Yep, there it goes. I went through these setup screens and then discovered that I needed an activation code, so I had to go figure that out and then activate the controller. It took me a while to register this. I tried to do it from my phone. It didn't like the password I was creating, so I finally did the registration from my computer. Got an activation code, entered the activation code, and now I'm set to go. It says, do you want to use Auto Square? And yes, I do. So I'll say yes. Everything is clear, so I'll go and say home. So it's currently homing. It first did this axis, which I don't know if that's X or Y. Okay, so this is the X going that way. So it's going to overdrive the X to square it up. So now it looks like it's homing the Z. So it's now saying I should use the Wi-Fi app and the Calibrate app. I'm going to do this off screen because I don't want to expose my Wi-Fi information. Now, I apologize for the lighting in this video. The lighting in the garage is not that great. I did ask my contractor to add more lights, and his comment was, why do you need more lights? And, you know, he was always right in his mind, so I got what he thought was right, not what I asked for. So I do need to move the Smartbench at some point so I can get up and put some additional lights above the Smartbench, which will give me better lighting for video purposes. But until then, the lighting is going to be okay. As I mentioned, in the next video, I'm going to be making the designing, cutting out, finishing, and installing everything that I need for this front entry closet. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up, comment below, subscribe, and if you're already a subscriber, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button to be notified when I have my next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.